Ad Council.
This program is a paid commercial announcement and in no way represents the views of WPHT or its management.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. An Odyssey station. Investor Schooling Live with Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Coming to you from Investor Schooling headquarters. I am Larry Steinhouse and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing and stock options trading. Hey, by the way, you can call me anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. And by the way, we are a live program, so you can call anytime during the show and I will take your calls. Don't worry about what I'm talking about. I'd love to take your calls. At Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading, how to save money in taxes, and how to be financially free. And we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We are right off the Newtown Bypass, serving the New Jersey and Philadelphia area in a real brick-and-mortar building. Our students are also located in several states with our exclusive web access to our classes and seminars. Get ready to learn this business, the business of real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. All right, welcome to Investor Schooling. I am Larry Steinhouse, and the phone number, if you guys want to call in, is 855-939-1137. That's right, 855-939-1137. All right, so I have a question for you. If you were listening, if you were here last week, actually, I want to know if you guys went to our event last week. That's what I really want to know, because we had a great event last week. We had the Finance and Freedom event, and it was fantastic. We had a lot of good speakers there, including one very special speaker who was Doug Mastriano. And I want to bring up Doug Mastriano because, first of all, the guy is an amazing guy. By the way, it's really funny because I met him for the first time. I had spoken to him on the phone several times, and I had seen him on Facebook several times. And he's a lot taller in person than he was online. I thought he was going to be short, but I think he was actually taller than I was. So, he's kind of a little, a little intimidating how tall he is. But I'm listening yesterday, and I'm listening to PHT. And, of course, I have to listen to PHT. I have to support the station, right? And I'm listening to Dom Giordano yesterday, and he's talking about how Doug Mastriano can't win. I'm like, what? What? How could Dom Giordano say that? How could he possibly say that Doug Mastriano can't win? Now, I realize this is kind of off the wall, and this isn't exactly finances, but I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing it up and why I think it is finances. It's finances because if we get the wrong guy for the governor of this country, the governor of, first of all, the president of this country destroying business, but the governor of this state, if we get the wrong guy in there, we're going to have problems like the problems we had with the wolf nut. Air Wolf closed down all our businesses. We want to make sure that never happens again. And if we get guys like Mastriano in, it's never going to happen again. This guy, Mastriano, he will make sure that businesses don't get shut down. He will make sure that COVID never actually pops up again and says, hi, we're going to close your business. We're going to decide who's essential. We're going to decide what your life is going to be like because we're politicians and we know best. We don't really talk to doctors. We just make stuff up. We listen to one doctor, Dr. Frodsky, and if he says it, then that must be it. So anyway, we had Doug Mastriano last week. He was there, and we were talking about him. I actually gave him a big check for his donation, so obviously I believe in this guy. I think he's the guy. And I just want to know if anybody here, if you're listening, if you're a Doug Mastriano fan, please call in 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. No matter what topic I'm talking about, I just want to find out if you're voting for him, if you like him, if you don't like him. Hey, listen, if you like him, cheer me on. If you don't like him, tell me why I shouldn't vote for him, because this is a guy who I really believe in. I think this guy's going to take the state by storm, and I think he's going to make Pennsylvania Florida, if you understand the reference for those of you who want freedom again. All right, so I want to go talk a little bit about maybe the stock market and what's going on with Twitter and Musk. But as I said before, if you want to call in and talk about Doug, feel free to. 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. I am Larry Steinhouse. All right, I'm going to talk about what happened with Twitter the last 2 weeks. It's pretty interesting. You guys probably know that Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? So then you have, and he, by the way, it didn't officially go through yet. And I found that also interesting because I saw an article today about how, and it was written, of course, by some liberal who said, sometimes Elon Musk doesn't go through with his deals. I mean, come on, really? Is that what you guys want to do? You want to hold on to the last bit of hope that Elon Musk doesn't buy Twitter because you're afraid of free speech? Could you imagine calling yourself a liberal and saying, hey, the word liberal, and you're going to say that, I want banned speech? I don't even get it. But, Elon Musk, of course, as you know, he bought Twitter. He's going to make severe changes to the way everything is out there. He's going to make Twitter free again. He's going to make Twitter Florida again, if you want to call it that. He's going to make Florida. He's going to make Twitter Florida again. He's going to make Twitter free speech. And the real question is whether is he going to let Trump back on? And then, if you guys did not know this, Trump actually came on and said, I'm probably not going to go back on Twitter. I don't believe him, by the way. He said, I'm not going to go back on Twitter because I have my own site, Truth Social, which, by the way, if you want to connect to me on Truth Social, you can do that too, at Larry Steinhouse. The one thing about Truth Social, and if you're on Truth Social, talk to me too if you want to, 855-939-1137. But the one thing about Truth Social that I noticed, it's all Trump's the greatest, 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 which is really nice for Trump's ego, but I'd like to be on a social media site where you could talk about some other things. You know what? I'm going to have to go to a commercial real quick because I have to do some technology something here that I forgot to do. So take us to a commercial, and I will fix that. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you afraid of the great...
You okay?
Yeah, I forgot to move the phone. I just noticed my phone ringing, and the reason you're not getting calls, I forgot to move the phone.
Okay. I'll give you a minute here.
Give me 2 commercials at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Got to pay thousands less in taxes legally.
Oh, crap. You had a second caller, but they hung up while I was talking to you. I was about to grab it.
That's right. They were calling the other line. To make more money and pay less taxes. Well, I just finished writing a book on all things I teach at Investor Schooling and on my radio shows. This book is called Money Hacks, and you want a copy of this book, and you can pre-order this book wherever books are sold.
All right, so you see that name I sent you?
Okay.
Yep. You ready to come back?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
All right. All right, welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. Sorry about that. I noticed there was a phone issue. So if you want to call now, I promise you that the phone will definitely go through. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Sorry about that. We had a phone line issue, and I needed to fix it real quick. And, it's kind of cool. If you guys ever come to Investor Schooling, you'll come down and you'll see my studio. We have built a studio down here that rivals most radio studios out there. And, of course, I built it myself, the technology, so every once in a while I have to jump in and become the engineer for a minute, even though I have 2 engineers. We have the famous Glenn Page over at PST, which we connect to, and we have the famous Mike over here as well in our studio, so he's actually looking over my shoulder, and he's yelling at me going, I did all my stuff, you didn't do yours. But I think we have Craig in Huntington Valley. Hey, Craig, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
We got you. What's going on, man?
You mentioned... Hey, it's a privilege to talk to you, Larry. I heard you mention Doug Mastriano when I turned the radio on, and I like him. I've been to some of the Second Amendment rallies at the Capitol he's addressed, but it's my understanding that he voted for the mail-in voting, which, as you know, torpedoed the election in Pennsylvania, and there's no chain of custody. There's all kind of abuses with that. How does he reconcile that? He voted for that. That was a terrible decision.
All right, so the rumor on that, and actually, I don't know if it'd be great if you could call in. I have no idea if he can, and he doesn't know I'm doing this, but if you happen to be listening, it'd be great. But so the rumor on that was, because I read a lot into that, and I didn't get, obviously I'm not prepared to talk about it, but the rumor, and from what I remember, was the bill was very different when it went to the Democrats. After they said yes and went to the Democrats, they changed it, and they made this whole thing. Look, so they made it a disaster, and now they want to go back and they want to change it to what the original bill was. So don't be don't be discouraged by that simple. That's simple. It was terrible, of course, but that main point. The problem was the Democrats bastardized the bill, and they turned it into something it wasn't. They made it so this could happen. Now you also know. I mean, look, I'm on YouTube right now. So listen to the way I say this. We all know how fair the election was, don't we? Right? Because the weird part is, you can't be thrown off the radio for telling the truth, but you could be thrown off of YouTube for telling the truth. Do you believe that?
I see.
It's amazing to me that they actually can do this to us. And that's part of what Elon Musk is doing. So my suggestion to you, by the way, I got a question for you. Are you going to be voting in the primaries?
Oh, yes, every time.
All right, good, because, I actually got really upset about voting to the point where I just said, you know what, I'm never going to vote again. And then I woke up one night in the middle of the night and said, that is the dumbest thing I could ever do, because even if I'm right, or if we're right and our vote will never be counted, then we already know it won't be counted. But what if it is counted and we chose not to vote? The biggest mistake we can make is not vote. So I'm going to be the first one online. And however it turns out, it turns out.
Thank you, Larry. I guess we'll have to look into that issue a little bit more. But the ads are out there saying that. So thank you for addressing
if the ads are out there saying that, that's not true, because you know how that works, right? Politicians pick anything they can, to put the other politician down, especially even the Republicans running against another Republican. Hey, I don't care. I want to win. I'll lie, or I'll cheat, or I'll turn something, or I'll take something out of context. You know how that goes.
Yep. I do. All right. Thank you, Larry.
You got it, man. Take care. Thanks for calling. Hey, looks like we got Jeff in Plymouth Meeting. What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, Larry. How you making out?
All right, man. I'm having a good time.
Good. Yeah, Doug's he's our man. He should be our man. Seeing him at the debate, standing head and shoulders above everyone else, that guy needs financing. Whoever is out there with money should support this guy, man. He is the real deal. He's got the whole Republican package. He is the man. I think he's the only one up there who can get it done. He should make McSwain his attorney general. That'd be an ideal ticket right there.
Probably would be nice, yeah.
Thanks for your time. That's all. I really like the guy, and I wish I'd known about him more. But only recently have we seen him getting airtime and advertising, and he really needs some help. And it's a shame that we're not going to get to see this guy. And that's probably why Don Giordano, he's only looking at the money end of it, and he's probably right that Mastriano is low on the money end.
So, are you a listener to our show? The Investor Schooling Live show?
I am.
Okay, did you listen last week? We talked about the event that we had on Sunday. It was a day. So we had an event last week, and we actually invited Mastriano to come. And I don't know if are you on any of Doug Mastriano's pages? On Facebook?
No. Like I said, just at the night of the debate is really my first exposure to him.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know much about him other than what I've seen.
So look up Doug
although I got to say,
go ahead.
I got a friend that's really good friends with him and told me about him months ago, but I thought nothing of it because I hadn't seen him on any dockets or any advertising.
Right.
And finally saw him at the debate. I was really impressed.
So I'll tell you, I started following him about 2 years ago. So again, I don't know how long you've been listening to the show. I don't know how well you know me, but I went nuts over this whole mask and this whole mask. And I'm just so everybody else knows there, I could have 2 years ago. I could care less about politics. I didn't care. I didn't even care. I didn't even know Governor Wolf's first name. That's how little I knew about politics 2 years ago. I was like, I voted for Trump. Just so you know, I voted for Trump. And when I voted for Trump, my thought was real simple. My thought was it's either going to be extremely entertaining or he might actually do the things he said he was going to do. It turned out it was both, which was kind of wild. And then I also thought, okay,
Absolutely.
Right? And I also thought, this is not going to happen anymore. Why bother anymore? Whatever. And then, of course, I voted for Trump again, and that didn't work. And then we saw the election. As you know, I'm on YouTube, so I must say, the totally fair election that we had. Right? So we saw it happen with that, and then and I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. And I talked about that before too. So now I started listening to Mastriano about 2 years ago. I'm online and I'm listening to him, and he's talking about the mask mandates. He's talking about how unfair they are, how the essential businesses, how everybody is essential. And he wasn't even running at the time. Do I think he might have had in the back of his head he was going to run? Yeah, right. But he started, and we even had him on our show. We had him on this show about 2 years ago before he was who he is now. And I just love the guy. The guy is fantastic. To me, he's like Superman. He's got a PhD. He's got 4 MBAs. The guy's just amazing. And we had him on our show last week, and you asked about giving him money. If you want to go to his site, you can actually see the check I handed him. It was a nice-sized check to help his campaign.
Nice. Good man.
So, so I'm definitely a big fan of Mastriano.
Well,
and my other joke.
Thank you for.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say my other joke is that I have his cell phone number. So if he gets elected, I have the governor's cell phone number.
Yeah, nice. There you go. Well, listen, man, Larry, that's really thanks for your background. I had no idea you weren't into politics. You speak so well on it. I thought
I know you can tell, right? I have no idea.
You do great, man. You do a really good job. I like it.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I tell you, I am so involved now that I don't even know what to do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say in Bucks County, there's really 2 Republican committees now. There's the Rhino Committee, and then there's the Republican Committee. I don't know if you want to, again, and the Republican Committee reached out to me the other day, and they want to have a meeting with me and have some conversations. I'll let you know how that goes. I'm just curious about that too. But because we got Fitzpatrick here, who is, I don't know who's worse. Him or the what the hell's his name? Mitch Romney. Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Hey, I totally appreciate the call.
There's no place on this.
Hey,
thanks for that. Appreciate your time.
Are we ever going to see you at Investor Schooling?
I dabbled at the OTA a little while back, and I really didn't put the commitment in necessary. I'm going through some personal things right now. I don't have the time to do it, but.
Well, you stop by and you see me, man. The first class is free. So, I mean, I know this is becoming a very political conversation, but I will tell you that we teach people how to make more money. And I'll tell you, I'm going to teach you how to strive in the Biden economy, because the Biden economy is eating up all your money. And I'm going to tell you how I increased my net worth $1 million because of our great president, who was elected legally into the greatest country in the world. My net worth went up $1 million because of him. And I don't even.
Well, when's the next event?
So there's 2 things coming up. Actually, if you listen to the show, we have 2 things coming up. We obviously have a show. We have our regular class this Thursday, and you can go to investorschooling.com and you can sign up for that class. It's free, so come. And then, of course, we also have I wrote a new book called Money Hacks, and we're going to be doing something on June 1st. We're going to be doing a book signing, and I'm going to be teaching some of the things in the book. And I don't know, I may have a surprise guest or 2 there. I don't know who they are, but we've been talking to a couple of people. I can't mention who they are yet, but I may have a surprise guest there as well. As you know, Doug Mastriano was my last surprise guest, and also Bill Spadia from New Jersey was another surprise guest from last week. But my book, Money Hacks, if you go to moneyhackslive.com, moneyhackslive.com, for $27, you can show up. We'll feed you dinner, and we'll sign your book if you've got one. And you'll also have a good time, I promise. And you get to meet me, and maybe we'll even take a picture together.
That'd be sweet.
All right, Jeff.
Great. Good information, brother. Keep up the good work.
You got it, man. Thanks so much. Hey, we got Tom on the line. What's going on, Tom?
Hey, Larry, how you doing? Yeah, this is Tom from Turnersville, New Jersey.
What's happening, man?
Since I live in Jersey, I don't have a dog in this fight. But I'm kind of sick and tired of what's been happening with the Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
And I live in a Democratic-controlled state, so...
Oh, yeah.
The thing about Mastriano, the allegation or the stipulation that he supported the mail-in balloting, regardless of whatever explanations there may be, that's a tough soundbite for him to overcome, I think. And also... even though I'm in Jersey, I'm an expatriate Philadelphia. And I don't think many people, I think a few previous callers have said there's not a lot of awareness in the Philadelphia area about Mastriano. I've heard him talk a few times. I like what I hear. I wish if I was voting, I would certainly entertain voting for him. But I think that's probably a problem for him. And I think that's the reason Giordano says he doesn't think he can win.
Yeah, I have to think that's why he says it too. I don't agree with him. I actually think that Doug has the best chance of winning over any other over any other candidate, only because the way he speaks clearly about how he's going to stop this from ever happening again. He's not going to allow, vaccine mandates. He's basically, honestly, to me, he's DeSantis, and I actually think Mastriano's more intelligent than DeSantis. I'm not saying DeSantis is by all means he's
Right.
brilliant, but I actually think Mastriano's more intelligent than DeSantis.
I don't disagree with you. What I am once again going to say is I don't think there's a great awareness of him in and around the Philadelphia metropolitan area, and I would think that would be a major block of voters that he would want to have supporting him. I just don't know that it's there. I think people in Philly know more about McSwain than they do Mastriano, and so whatever that's worth. Anyway,
well, that's why I'm here. I'm spreading the word, man.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason I wanted to call you, because you've got a big airways there that you can drum up support for him. And as I said, if I was on the Pennsylvania side of the river, I would probably be voting for the guy.
Hey,
but I can't do it this time, at least. So.
Do you listen in the morning to my buddy Bill Spadea?
So anyway, say again.
Do you listen to my buddy in the morning, Bill Spadea, over there in New Jersey?
No, I can't say that I do. I just listen
fine.
to you and
and Phil.
You and Phil on
I got you.
Saturdays.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. Hey, when are you going to stop by? When are you going to stop by this school and take a class?
Well, I'm trying to work that in. I live a bit of a distance, and I just got a couple other issues I've been dealing with in life right now. So
it seems like everybody's got issues in life. You want to change those issues? Come to Investor Schooling, and we'll change your entire life.
I know you will. Yeah. So maybe I'm not ready for that shakeup yet.
Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to let you know my thoughts. So thanks, and keep up the good work, please.
Understand, man. I really appreciate the call in, and I appreciate you listening. Thanks so much. All right, if anybody else wants to call, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. We happen to be talking about Doug Mastriano and the governor's race only because I was talking about Doug was at my event last week, and we had a really great time, and the guy just impresses me over and over and over again. And then the fact that Dom Giordano yesterday was talking about it, and I was kind of like, all right, well, if he wants to, if he could take the airspace and talk against him, I'm going to take some of my time and talk about him, because I think the guy is fantastic. I think he's probably the greatest candidate. I actually like the guy as much as I like Trump. So that could be. I actually like him better than I like Trump, only because he's not going to be bashed for being Trump, if you understand what I mean by that. And Trump is way up there. He's absolutely my favorite president ever. All right, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137 if you want to call in, and it would be a lot of fun. 855-939-1137. Hey, I'm actually, it's pretty interesting because a couple of people online. So as you guys know, we do this show, not only do we do it live on the air, but we also do it live on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. And somebody online just said they're really torn on your school. Options scare the S out of me, and real estate not so much, but I'm not handy. So Mark, who said that, by the way, Mark, you don't need to know anything about stock options, and you don't need to know anything about real estate until you come in. We'll be able to help you. And I'm going to tell you, he said something about not being handy. Forget about being handy. Don't worry about fixing your own properties. And let's even go into take a turn into this direction right now. So a lot of people are afraid to get into real estate investing. They're afraid to get into real estate investing because they feel that they need to be handy. Absolutely the furthest thing from the truth. What you need to do is you need to know how to use your cell phone. So I'm assuming, Mark, that you know how to use a cell phone. And if you know how to use a cell phone, by the way, if you know how to use a cell phone, call in 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Call in now and talk to me about this situation. But I'm going to tell you that if you know how to use a cell phone, you'll be able to solve every single one of your tenants' problems, usually within a few minutes. So, for example, and I always make this one because a lot of people come up to me and they say, "Hey, what happens when a tenant calls you up in the middle of the night and their toilet doesn't work?" And I'm going to tell you that the first thing I do is I don't answer the phone. So my phone is turned off. It's turned off from about 9 o'clock to about 6:30 in the morning. So if the tenant's calling me, they're going to get my voicemail. And honestly, if it's an absolute emergency, I look at it this way. So if they have only one bathroom in the house, and let's say you have your own house and you own a house, and you don't have a landlord to call, and
You've
your
got
bathroom.
Senator Mastriano on the line.
I'm sorry, what's that?
You've got Senator Mastriano
No
on
way.
the line.
That is awesome. Senator,
Allegedly.
what's happening? I'm so excited that you called me. Thank you.
Hey, that was a great event. My wife Rebby's here with me.
Hello.
Hey guys, how are you?
That was fantastic. Great. We enjoyed Washington Crossing last weekend. Thank you.
Oh, you are so like I was so honored that you were there too. That was amazing.
Wow, classy event, historic location. Doesn't get any better than that.
Oh yeah, it was and I tell you, as I said, everybody else, you're taller than I thought you were.
That's funny. I hope I don't look fatter in person.
What? No, you didn't. You look skinnier actually. What? How tall are you? 6'1"?
Just shy of 6'2".
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. See, I guess that me being 5'11" and a half just doesn't match up. So,
that's fantastic.
hey,
the Democrats. The Democrats released a poll yesterday. The Democrats did this. The second one they did, and they had me 14 points ahead.
Really?
Yeah, great news.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, well, that's. Hey, what they have Trump? They had Trump losing to Hillary by 90-1 or something.
Yeah, So it's nothing but good news. So they've been tracking me. So and this is all true. This is in a political article. 2021, they blacklisted 21 Republicans. I was their number one hit. And they hit me really hard in the media, CNN and all the other rags. And then they did a poll in November to see if they mortally wounded me politically, and they were shocked and disappointed to see that they made me more popular, more liked. So
yeah, and that's typically what's happening right now. What's happening now is the Democrats are coming on, and the more they say, the better. I mean, look, there's somebody, and I can't even remember who it is. It's really funny. There's somebody I keep getting in my mailbox. I keep getting this I don't know what it's called. This a postcard that says Doug Mastriano no and red letters NO. And the first time I saw it, I looked at it like, oh look, Doug's finally sending postcards out. And then I realized that it's actually an anti-campaign for you. And I don't even know who's sending it. There's no way they don't even put their name, or they put their name somewhere in small letters. I mean, whoever this is, Doug, you need to send him some money and say thank you. This is the greatest campaign that this guy's doing against you.
I love it. Yeah, these guys are ridiculous. They're a never Trumper group, actually. That they're backing a to-me Republican sort of guy. So they're going to lose. They're wasting. That's a $400,000 buy they did on that. What a waste of money.
Wow. Hey, so were you listening a little earlier? Because somebody had a question, and I'd love to hear it from you instead of my explanation of it, which was the mail-in voting situation. The rumor is that you were all for it, and I know you explained it a lot better than I do. Maybe you could explain it to whoever was listening earlier.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, it's called Act 77. It was a voting reform package voted on in 2019. And then when COVID came in, the Democrats completely changed the law. I'll say that real slowly so that listener can take it in. The Democrats hijacked the law, rewrote the law. It's not constitutional. That's the case that Donald Trump, put a lot of stock in from Texas. I did as well, by the way, because the Supreme Court rewrote the law. So did our governor. So did our Secretary of State. It compromised our elections. So everyone needs to get off that talking point, and believing this crap. It's funny. One of the candidates, the one that Donald Trump called a coward, he actually, said in a letter to Trump last year that was made public that the law was changed and violated by our Supreme Court, our governor, and our Secretary of State, all Democrats. But it's interesting this year, he's willing to lie to get people's votes. So people need to stop being so gullible.
Yeah, I see that all the time. Like I said before, I see that the Democrats, they make up this stuff, and the other Republicans make up stuff. It's odd that you can't get the people, even the Republicans or either side, to come together and say, hey, this is the best candidate, let's push him forward. Instead, you guys all fight against each other, but that ends in 2 weeks anyway. and they all fight against each other, and then hopefully you become the candidate. I'm going to be so excited about voting when you are the candidate. If not, I might go back into my hole and not vote.
All the polls have it said. We had a big debate on Wednesday with the top 4 candidates, and 70% of the people in the state said we won it. I mean, it was overwhelming.
That's awesome. And then, I know the debate you did. I mean, everybody said you slaughtered these guys in the debate.
Yeah, it's really not that hard when you're dealing with that level of sophistication, I guess. I'm kidding.
Well, no. So actually, I know you're trying not to insult the other people, but how is it to go through life with a PhD and 4 MBAs? You got to be smarter than everybody you meet.
At least I try to kid myself in that regard. So.
Oh, look, we've got somebody online actually just said for the past 2 years. We've seen the left accuse others for what they have done, and that's actually true. It's funny how we talked about they talked about the Democrats talked about the cheating on the election using Russia, and it turned out to be Hillary. We talk about the Democrats bashing people, and they're doing exactly what they say. I mean, look at this freedom of speech thing. I can't believe Obama the other day does a speech at a college saying we need to limit speech in order to have democracy. Like, what?
That's fascism, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So. You're right. And remember, don't forget, all the Republicans are fascists, and we're all fascist and racist because we want everybody to be equal. And if we're all equal, then we got to be racist. But if somebody has a problem, the whole critical race theory thing. Hey, what is your take on critical race theory?
It needs to be banned from all public schools, period. And if the schools, on day one, I'm signing an executive order banning that in any form or variation of it.
That's great.
And there will be punitive actions against schools that violate that and try to circumvent it. You don't use schools to indoctrinate. You use schools to educate. Teach kids how to think, not what to think.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also got the other thing, too, where DeSantis banned, from kindergarten to 3rd grade, talking about, I don't know, what sex you should be. I mean, that's so bizarre. I know some people have gone to the extreme and saying it's pornography. Yeah, all right. I don't know if I go that extreme, but I remember when I was a kid, I was worried about where my toys were in the closet. I don't need to know where my things are in my pants. Yeah,
exactly. This has gone too far, and the Democrat Party, the leadership of the Democrat Party, has gone too extreme, and that's why Rebby and I, as we're traveling the state, are seeing thousands of Democrats and independents coming over to the Republican Party because they want to vote for me on 17 May, and we're going to take our state back. We're going to flip Republican red under our leadership. Day one, any of this gender confusion crap is out of the schools as well.
Awesome.
There teachers that do that are grooming kids. And that's child abuse, by the way. The parents need to be the ones to decide what they're going to talk about regarding gender, what have you. And also, when we were all in school, by the way, it was pretty clear whether you're a boy or girl. I mean, it's not that hard.
Yeah, and of course, the racist I am, and the anti-LGBTQ or whatever the heck it is thing I am. My belief is, you want to do that, you want to mutilate your body, go right ahead. I don't care. You want to, you want to dress up like a woman, go right ahead. I don't care. Have a good time. You want to marry a man, go ahead. I don't care. You want to marry a woman, I don't care. Go do your thing. I don't care. Just don't make me have to do what you tell me to do because you say that's your freedom of speech. My freedom of speech is I call you a man because you're a man.
Yeah, we're actually we were told the past 2 years, Larry, to follow the science. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Follow the science.
Yeah, I find that hysterical too. It's like, only follow the science when it's politically correct. Which actually, all my entire life, I wanted to know what the words political science meant, and now I know.
That's funny.
Doug, you are awesome, Doug.
That's clever. I love it.
Hey, you are awesome, Doug. Hey,
Thank
listen,
you.
if you're not too busy June 1st, I would so be honored. I'm doing my book launch, my Money Hacks book launch, and if you're not too busy, if you won, I know you're going to be too busy. But if you lost, then we're all going to be disappointed and we can cry together. But I'd love to have you at my event. We could probably talk about it offline, but I'd love to have you there just to say hi to some of the people in the audience. Also I'll give you an autographed copy of my book. One of us will be more famous by then
That
than
would
the
be
other one.
awesome. We'll look into it, but I have bad news for you. We're definitely going to win the primary.
Oh, that's
we'll
not-
be in general election mode, but we'll see if it's possible to do something with you.
See, if you win the primary, I sell more books that way because there'll be more people with money that can afford my book.
That's a fact. We're going to bring prosperity back to Pennsylvania.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much. You guys are great. I really appreciate you calling in. And by the way, you guys, just so you guys are online, I had no idea. He obviously was listening, and I appreciate that, Doug. And I appreciate you being a fan because I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you, Larry.
Take care, Mastrianos. Thanks so much. Hey, thank you, Reb. Thank you, Rebby. And Glenn, take us to a commercial because I got to go get excited, man. This was so exciting for me. We'll see you guys in a minute. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of the Biden economy? Do you want to learn how to thrive in the Biden economy? Because we're going to teach
All right, you're clear.
you investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to thrive in the Biden economy. You could also call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Tell me you're tired of inflation. Investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. The opportunity to retire with a great big real estate portfolio is coming quickly, and you want to learn how to do it. We all know the downturn is around the corner. What does that mean to you? You need to learn how to take advantage of this opportunity, like how to buy discounted properties with absolutely no money out of your pocket. Can it be done? Yes, it can. Can you learn how to do it? Yes, you can. Go to investorschooling.com and find out how you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday. Investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhouse, and you have probably heard my radio shows and listened to my great advice on how you can make more money and pay less taxes. Well, I just finished writing a book called Money Hacks, and to celebrate, I'm hosting a book launch dinner at the Sheraton in Oxford Valley. This will be on June 1st at 6 p.m., and you are invited. Go to moneyhackslive.com to register for just $27. You will get dinner, and I will sign a copy of your book, and I will give you some great financial advice. Go to Money Hacks Live right now to register. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you afraid of the Great Reset? Well, the Great Reset won't apply to those who own real assets. At Investor Schooling, we teach you how to...
You ready to come back, Larry?
Yep, thanks, man.
All right.
And even the basics...
I didn't realize that was really him at first. At first, I thought it was a prank.
That's great.
I did. I chuckled a little bit. I hope he didn't think. I hope he wasn't offended. All right, here we go.
All right, welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. I am Larry Steinhouse, and I got to tell you, Doug Mastriano, thank you so much for calling in. You made my day. I've got a bunch of people online going, that was great, that was awesome, that's fantastic. And by the way, Linda, my wife, says hello, Rebby, and also Doug. She says hello as well. And she was there. I go, you guys met her last week. And you guys, that was just fantastic. You made my day. Thank you so much for calling in. And let's make Doug's day on the 17th and vote for him because he is the guy. Make it happen. Make this guy governor, and we can all retire with more money. I know you guys don't understand it, but it really will work. You actually, when you have less taxes, when you pay less taxes, and when you business is not shut down. Oh, I forgot to ask him about his mask. I know he's anti-mask. That's how I found him. But I it would have been fun to hear him say how he was anti-mask. But I will tell you that's how you retire in style. You retire in style when you have the right people doing the right things at the government level and making sure that your money isn't, stolen by the government. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, you come see me, I'm going to teach you how to pay less taxes. And the best thing about paying less taxes is you control your own money, and those people in the government don't get to do what they want with it. And I teach it all the time. I do a presentation actually called I Hate Paying Taxes. I actually think, I'm looking at my book right now, I actually think I have a chapter. I got to find the chapter that says which one it is. Real quick, I'm going to find it for you. I know it's here somewhere if I can open the table of contents. So if you order my book, Money Hacks, I don't know where it is. I can't find it. I sound like I'm trying to desperately find it, but I didn't find it. All right, anyway. It doesn't matter. There's a book on it. There's a chapter in my book about how to pay less taxes. The book, of course, is called Money Hacks. All right, so let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the real estate market, and is it going to crash? I don't know, man. I just like, this is just, it's so obvious what's going to happen. The market is definitely going to crash. I mean, we have inflation up at the highest inflation in 40 years, right? Almost 8% inflation year over year, highest inflation over 40 years. And then we have interest rates going. So did you guys know that the interest rates now have hit almost 7%? Actually, even over 7% if your credit score is not that great. Your interest rate is over 7%. That's horrible. That means that now you can't afford to buy a house anymore. It's just that simple. It's going to be really tough to buy a house. By the way, if you're looking for a house right now and you have been running into this, call 855-939-1137. I'd love to talk to you on the air. 855-939-1137. I'd love to talk to you on the air about what's going on with that. And, of course, if you're a big fan of Doug Mastriano, call up 855-939-1137 and tell me about it. All right. So the real estate market, look, here I've been saying this for 2 years now, honestly, that this coming spring is going to be the last good market, we had the last best market last year where houses rose to an incredible amount of money. I told you when I said before that I made money in the Biden economy, the only reason I made money in the Biden economy was because I owned real estate. And the real estate, because inflation went up so much, my real estate values went up. My net worth increased just about $1 million last year because of the real estate I owned. That doesn't include, businesses that are doing better now. It doesn't include cash. It doesn't include some stocks. But just my real estate alone went up $1 million in net worth in that alone, which is why inflation is great. So once again, I just want to thank all you guys because that greatest real election that was absolutely, no fraud whatsoever that got this guy in made the inflation happen. I got to watch myself because I get thrown off YouTube all the time. If you guys ever look for me on YouTube, you're gonna have a tough time finding me. Half the time I'm banned, and the other time they actually closed down 2 of my channels completely because I speak the truth. So the real estate market, yes, it's going to crash. It may not be. I say that it's going to be similar to 2008. It's not going to be the same reasons. So in 2008, we had all those mortgages, and the mortgages exploded, right? We had these people that took out mortgages that they couldn't afford. It's going to happen again, but it's going to happen differently. It's going to happen where there's going to be mortgages that people can't afford, but the mortgages that they took out 2 or 3 years ago aren't the problems. The problems are going to be the ones that they took out a while before, that they all thought the property value was going to go up, and they did, and then they cashed out. And when they cashed out, they now have second loans, or they have new refinance loans, and those loans are going to be tough. Those are going to be the tough ones to pay, and you have all these people coming off the moratorium. Oh, that's the other thing too, and I forgot to talk to Doug about this too. I'm going off on another tangent, but how can you actually have a moratorium on evictions? Wow, Doug, you got to make sure that doesn't happen too. That there can never be a moratorium on evictions where the government could come in and take your legal contract and just change the entire contract and say, yeah, you have a legal contract that says if the guy doesn't pay his rent, you can take him to court and evict him. But now your contract is completely void, and it's just too bad. And I don't care if you have to pay your mortgage, because you could go get a mortgage moratorium and it's okay. Everything that you're trying to do it's too bad. I've never seen anything like this. This is why we had the caller earlier. I think it was Jeff, when I was talking to Jeff earlier. He said, I sound like I know a lot about politics. I knew nothing about politics. But when I started to see all of this happening, I started to see laws being broken. And I mean laws being broken by politicians. That's where I got involved. And this one law about the fact that you can't evict somebody. I mean, come on, really? So I've been teaching real estate now for, on and off for probably 30 years. And different sizes. Now we have special schooling. I teach a lot of people now. But even early in the business, and people used to say, well, what happens if the tenant doesn't pay? And I had exact steps to take if the tenant didn't pay. What you do this here, you do this here, you do this here. You take, first of all, you send them a letter, then you take them to court, then you negotiate with them, and then you can do, maybe a confession of judgment. All of these type of things to do. Now, a year and a half ago, I couldn't do anything. I didn't know what to do. Now, I got very lucky because the way I handle my tenants, I only had one tenant that was a problem, and the tenant was a guy who owned a barbershop. And he called me up. He called me up very sincerely, and he said, "Look," he goes, "the government shut me down. I don't know what to do." And I said, "Look, I understand." He goes, and his rent I think was $1,400 a month. And he goes, "I just don't have the rent. I've got $1,000." And I said, "Send it to me." He goes, "I'll send you the rest when I can." I said, "Don't worry about it." I said, "Just send me the $1,000. We'll call it even for the month." And he called me up the next month, and I let him do that for 2 or 3 months, because that was the worst case scenario I had because of the way I screened tenants. But I will tell you that, that was out of goodness of my heart. I thought it was the right thing to do. It was just one of those strange situations. I believed the guy. It was pretty obvious that he wasn't trying to take advantage of me or the law, and I did what I could for him. And he's back to paying the rent. He even when he was paying $1,000, he was paying it on time, which was interesting too. He just didn't have any money, and now business is back for him. So now we're gonna have all those people who are they're gonna have to start paying their mortgage back, and you have people who were paying their mortgage, who weren't paying their mortgage for a good 9 months, and then all of a sudden they start to pay their mortgage again, and they have they have a bill that they haven't paid in months. And all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, I can't go out to a restaurant now. I can't do this now. I can't do that now." And I wasn't saving that money. I was telling people to save that money. And the market's going to tank. It's going to actually become a problem. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is where, if you're a real estate investor, you can learn how to take advantage of this. And I'm not saying take advantage of people, because a lot of people are, "Oh, you're a slime ball because you take advantage of people who can't pay their mortgage." No, I'm going to rescue them, but I'm going to rescue them in a different way. Yes, they're going to have to move. So let's say you're in this situation and you can't pay your mortgage anymore. Now you're going to lose your house. You're absolutely going to lose your house. And I come to you and I say, "Listen, you're still going to lose your house, but I'm going to make sure your credit doesn't get destroyed. I'm going to give you some money to put in your pocket to go move into another house or move to another apartment, and that will make your life so much better than if you sat here and and you just let the bank take your house away." So yes, you're helping people, and you're also getting a benefit in helping people. That's what makes the difference. So when you learn how to help people, and I go out to see people when I'm buying their real estate, I go out to see people, and I want to find out what's going on in their life. There are a few, and I come across them every once in a while. Real estate investors go, "I'm going to take advantage of that guy." I'm like, I don't really want to hear that. I'd rather just solve their problem. And in Investor Schooling, we teach you how to solve their problem. And in case you haven't heard yet, you could come this Thursday night to a free class. Go to investorschooling.com, and you could sign up for a class. And by the way, if you want to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. Hey, Glenn, I got a question for you. Do I sound giddy today because Mastriano called my show?
You do. You sound a little ebullient.
Yeah, I sound like because I can hear it in my voice. I'm like so excited. I want to run down the hall. Hey, Doug. I got a bad back, and you got me so excited that my back doesn't even hurt right now. So you guys out there
raised your dopamine.
Yeah, exactly. He's my dopamine, and hopefully he's going to be the dopamine for this state. That'd be awesome. All right. And if you guys want to talk about Doug or anything else, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. All right. What else we got going on here? So I want to talk about something else. There's a strategy that I talk about called covered calls. And covered calls is one of my favorite strategies and one of my favorite ways to make money really, really risk-free in the stock market. So right now, we've been seeing, we saw that the stock market went down 900 points on Friday. And I'll tell you something. On Thursday, the stock market was up 600 and something points, 620 points, I think it was. And in class, I turned to the class and I said, tomorrow, being Friday, tomorrow, the stock market is going to go down more than it went up today. And everybody in class said, "How did you know that?" And I said, "I've been doing this a long time. I could tell how it's going to happen. I'm going to teach you that as well." But what I noticed is when there's lots of turmoil, a great strategy is covered calls. So basically, if you have stocks, and let's say you have 100 shares of any stocks, let's say you have 100 shares of, Twitter, and you want to make some quick money while you're waiting for something to happen with stock market to move, you could actually sell the calls on those, and you can make some money. So I have been making on Uber, for example, I've been making $1,500 a week on a $38,000 investment. I've done this 6 weeks in a row. I made $1,500 on a $3,800 investment, and that's my money. I basically sell the call for somebody to buy that stock from me at 33. I paid 32 for the stock anyway. If the stock finishes over 33 at the end of the week, they get the stock, but I get to keep their $1,500. And the nice part about that is if it goes below that number, below that 33, which it has every single week, I get to keep the stock and I get to keep their money. So it's actually a really cool way to make money and also be very safe because, even if Uber drops 2 or 3 points, it doesn't matter. I still have the stock. I can wait forever, and I can continue to sell the covered calls. That's a really good strategy that we teach at Investor Schooling, and if you want to learn that strategy, I'll tell you right now, not only is it the safest strategy, but going into an economy like this or going through a stock market like this, it's a really good idea too, especially when the VIX is up at 38. Wow. So if you guys know what the VIX is basically it's a fear gauge. And the higher the number, the more likely the stock market is going to have wild swings like the ones we've experienced this week. So when the VIX is up that high, it's going to be really, really rough. And then a lot of people also ask me, they say, how much money do I need to invest in the stock market? So if you're doing covered calls, you obviously need enough to buy 100 shares of a stock. And I don't care what stock it is. So in other words, if the stock is at 33, you would need 33,000 to buy 100 shares of Uber, for example. And that's just an example. So you need at least 33,000. But here's the interesting part: you don't have to have 33,000. You can actually have half of that, because you could actually buy the stock on what's called margin. So you could have about 17,000 in the account and buy double the amount of stock that you have the money for. You can't do this in an IRA, and you can't do it in an HSA, and you can't do it in any other qualified retirement plan, but you can do it with your regular money. So if you wanted to, you could put in 17,000 in an account, buy $33,000 worth of stock, and in this case I'm talking about Uber, and you could sell the covered calls and make money week after week after week on that. That is an awesome strategy. It's a strategy to make money on. I like it a lot, actually. So let's see. What do we got here? We got a few more minutes. I want to talk about, oh, you know what? I don't know if I got time for people to call in on this one. I had a question I was going to ask the audience. But, Doug Mastriano hijacked my show. So, I don't know if I have time to ask you a question about, like, who owns your house. No, thank you, Doug. No, really, thank you. Thank you for calling me. That's so exciting. Do I sound like I went on my first date or something, Glenn?
Yes. It's embarrassing.
Glenn's going to be talking about this all day to everybody. So Glenn was saying on the break, I love this.
You're going to get him a corsage next? I mean,
yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to ask him to the prom. So you guys online heard this, but the guys who were listening on the radio. So when Doug called, Glenn was like, he wasn't even sure if it was really Doug, and he's asking him questions to make sure it really was him, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm a clown.
No, you're not a clown. You're a call screener. You did your job. I remember the times when Howard Stern had his show, and the call screeners were all fooled when when people used to call in and say "Baba Booey." Remember?
Oh, absolutely. I also remember times when it would be the real person and they wouldn't believe me.
And they wouldn't believe it, yeah, right? It would be you, right? Well,
yeah.
As long as Doug didn't say Baba Booey at the end, it must have been him.
No, it was him.
Yeah, I know. Of course I know it was him.
Either that or the greatest impersonation ever.
Yes, and he was also in contact with him, too, mentally, because he was able to ask the questions and talk about things we talked about the other day. And he's 6'2", man. He is Superman. Wow. All right. So real quick, let's talk about, I don't know, something real small here. Let's talk about who owns your house. So something that people don't know is who owns your house. So if you have a mortgage on your house, most people think that the bank owns your house. And I'm going to tell you, this is the furthest thing from the truth. You own your house 100% if you have a mortgage on your house. The bank does not own your house. Now, this is one of the things that gets very confusing to people. And they're like, no. The bank owns my house. No. You own your house. In fact, if you ever wanted to double check, look at something called your deed and see whose name's on it. And in every single case, you're going to see that your name is on the deed and you own your house. So what does that mean to you? So sometimes it means simple things like you have certain rights that ownership gives you. You have the right to occupy the house. You have the right to sell the house. You have the right to allow people in or not allow people in. these are some really important things. It's actually called the Bill of Rights, the Bill of Rights for your house, for homeownership. So you may want to know that you now own your house. The bank does not own your house. It's important, and also there are ways that you can actually sell your house by leaving the mortgage in place and letting somebody else take over the mortgage. We teach that, and that's also not only beneficial for the person who owns the house to get out of the deal, and also for the person to buy the house. So I've got like 2 or 3 minutes left, and I want to go over a couple of stocks real quick that I think are going to be some plays this week. We saw Facebook, of course. We saw Facebook move up on earnings this week, which was actually pretty good. I was actually surprised to see that the earnings were good enough that it moved up 25 points, but I actually don't think Facebook's going to go much higher than 2 or 210. I think we're going to be stuck in this range. Twitter's done because the most it could be is 54.20 is the most that stock, that price will ever be. So yeah, you could buy it now at 50, and you could wait for the deal to go through, and you're going to make yourself a little under 10% on that money, which is a nice play if you want to just hold out for it. But at the same time, if something goes bad, you don't want to be in that situation. So I don't think it's a play at all. I like Uber. Uber is a stock, and obviously I talked about it before. Uber's a stock that I think that you should buy and put it in a drawer somewhere, because Uber is going to become the autonomous car leaders. There are going to be no more Uber drivers. So sorry about that, you guys who are Uber drivers. It's all going to go away. There's going to be no more Uber drivers. And what will happen instead is there'll be all autonomous vehicles, and Uber will probably run the show. I also believe Hertz is also going to run the show. I wouldn't even be surprised if Hertz and Uber get together on this, because Hertz just bought 100,000 Teslas, and that makes me believe that they're positioning themselves for the same exact situation. So that's a powerful stock to buy. I actually believe it's going to turn into Amazon one day. That's how great they're going to be, or even Google, how great they're going to be. Wow. So it was an interesting day today. The show went into politics a little bit, and I'm hoping you guys are going to support my buddy Doug Mastriano, because I really believe in this guy. I really believe he will change this state. And besides, I have his cell phone number, so I want him to win, right? Hey Glenn, should I call him tonight and say, hey, do you want to go out on another date?
Play hard to get.
All right, I'll play a little hard to get. Hey, I hope he's not listening to this conversation, because he's going to think I'm desperate or something. And, of course, if he is listening, I want to thank you, Doug, so much for calling in. That was really awesome. Appreciate it. And if you guys want to take a class, go to investorschooling.com. Of course, I want to thank Glenn for being our producer today. He did an awesome job. I want to thank Mike for being the producer in-house. And I want to thank all you guys listening for being the most awesome listeners. Go to investorschooling.com, sign up for class, and we'll see you on Thursday night. Thanks, guys.
Hang on for 1 second, okay?